Good afternoon and welcome to another showcase interview. I'm your host, Leslie Gadet, resident self-care specialist, and I'm on a mission to help busy female entrepreneurs make self-care their number one priority to support them in life and business so that they stay sharp, focused, and wake up with more energy and intention to tackle their daily activities with confidence. Today, I have the privilege of speaking with Ashley Pakulski, the Mompreneur coach at Ashley Pakulski, the Mompreneur coach. Ashley is a mindset coach, best-selling author, and speaker. She's also an outreach ambassador with She Rises Studios and also part of the SRS Collective Leadership Team. She helps fempreneurs break through their limiting beliefs to master their mindset, increase their productivity, and create more abundance in their lives. Her whole life, Ashley was always a dreamer and always had a positive outlook, even though there were the most challenging times of her life. There was a time in her life she felt unhappy and stuck. She felt she was in a constant cycle. When she was younger, she was molested and sexually assaulted in her teenage years. She then turned to bad habits to self-soothe at one point in her life. Ashley had hit many roadblocks, but when she had her daughter, she knew things had to change. The table started to turn when she threw in the towel and deep dived to all the self-help books and personal development. Upon her discovery, she found that everything tied down to the subconscious mind and limiting beliefs. When she started to break through her limiting beliefs and reprogram her subconscious mind, major shifts started to happen within her. Not only were her thoughts and beliefs changing, but also results in her life. That's how Ashley created her 5-step signature framework, which we're going to touch on. It's her mission to truly inspire and empower women worldwide to make their dreams a reality. I can't wait for you to meet this amazing mompreneur because today we're going to be chatting about her life's journey, what she's doing now, where she's going, and also what it means to be a leader. So let's get started and welcome her in. Good afternoon, Ashley. Welcome, welcome.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me on, Leslie. So nice to be here.
Yeah, so nice. I am so happy that we finally were able to get this scheduled. So before we get started, as if you've been watching any of my previous interviews, I like to start off with some rapid fire questions, which really are just to break the ice, just to get the conversation moving and allow our group to get to know you just a little bit deeper on a different level besides Ashley, the business coach and the mompreneur, the best-selling author, and the motivational speaker. So if you're game, I'm going to just ask you just a couple.
Yeah.
I promise they won't be hard. At least I don't think
As I'm getting
hard.
nervous here, but yeah, sure. Shoot
Yeah,
it all up.
I don't think they're hard, but I think sometimes it can feel like, oh, okay, I have to ask questions about myself. Wow. Okay. All right. So describe yourself using 3 words.
This is exactly it. I would say funny. I have my uniqueness, I would say, and very positive.
Love that. Okay. So as you look back over your past 12 months of your life, what's something that's happened that's cause for celebration?
You know what? The growth. The growth never stops. You're always investing in yourself, you're learning new things. And I would say the past even 2 years, I was really focused on my healing, doing that inner work and stuff like that. So the past 12 months is definitely celebrating the growth. I look back to where I was before and to where I am heading now, and it's like two different people.
Yeah. No, I love that. What would you say has been your greatest accomplishment in your life?
My daughter, because as you were sharing, even on my introduction, I didn't have an easy life. There was a lot of roadblocks I hit. Some things where I still say like, wow, I'm alive. But, having my daughter really gave me that chance to really look at myself, my life, and start that healing journey as well. She is my true inspiration. She always believes in me, even when things are not going my way. She still has that belief in me. Like, mommy, don't worry, you still got this. It's still happening. So she's my number one cheerleader. And I had lots of guilt sometimes, thinking I wasn't that perfect mom, and going through my healing journey and just really realizing like no one's perfect, and she's seen some things, but she's taken that to a way, like a lesson, I should say. right? So to me, that's my big celebration, my daughter.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
amongst other things too, but.
Excuse me, just for 1 second, I am going to turn off my fan because I think it's a little noisy. There we go. Okay, so yeah, I have an office fan. Just I like to have the cool air blowing directly
Have the
on.
nice heat over there.
Yeah, it is quite hot here in Florida.
No.
Okay, so now I love that your daughter, because yeah, she's the reason why you switched, your life. Like you decided like enough was enough. So I love that. So what would you say, in your journey, what's been your greatest lesson that you've learned?
That no one's perfect. Everyone has a story. Everyone has some sort of trauma. And it's really taking it and using your story to help others, to really use that forgiveness, because a lot of times, we can blame others. We can hold that resentment. We can say this happened because of this, or I'm this because of that. But really, truly, like learning to forgive and to know that you're not perfect, and to really make an impact any way you can.
Yeah, no, I love that because we're so hard on ourselves. And especially as women, we wear these hats and we're thinking a lot of the time, like, am I good enough? Am I doing enough? And so I really love the fact that you touched on that it's really just, giving yourself that grace,
Mm-hmm.
so I really love that. Okay, so what's the best piece of advice you've ever received, or maybe you have recently given to someone else?
I would say don't look back, look forward. If there's something that you want to do, do not hesitate. Just go for it. You learn along the way. There's no such thing as failure. It's all a learning experience. Because when we say no to something that is our burning desire within, we're actually blocking ourselves from having that abundance in our lives. So going through it, and any voices, any people telling you no, you shouldn't be doing it, just if you have that inspiration, I should say, take that inspired action. Just go for it. Try it out. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, absolutely. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't mean that that's the end of the world, because you can always get back at it again. There's always a lesson to be learned. And there's also that, when you find that something maybe didn't work the right way, or I shouldn't say the right way, but the way you had hoped for in the first time around, there's clues there to show you like what did work, and maybe even allow yourself to like go, like why didn't it work the way I wanted it to, and how can I tweak it and actually get back at it? It's like not giving up. And I think as women too today, because especially the communities that you and I are both a part of, we are encouraging each other to go after our dreams, to stretch ourselves, to go after those goals, and that's really important, I think, in the world that we're living in today, because it's such a virtual world. We're out there and people are seeing us, and so we don't know how they're perceiving, how we're coming across. But it's having women like ourselves being connected to each other to support each other as we go through this journey. So I really appreciate that you brought that up. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
It's just to break the ice, right? To get us started. So a couple of things I'd like to touch on with you, of course, is getting to know you, your story for the women in the group, to get to know you a little bit more. And of course, what you're doing today and how you're serving your community, your Facebook community, and your Mompreneur community that's growing. As well, you're also a brand ambassador for She Rises Studios. So I'd like to know a little bit more about that, what that means. As well, you're also part of the SRS Collective Leadership Team, along with myself and some other amazing and incredible women. And of course, you've definitely got a lot going on, which is all very impressive. And I'm sure your daughter is like looking at you with awe, like, Mommy, how are you able to do all of this? So let's start at the beginning. Tell us who you are, your journey, your experiences from growing up to your life goals, and what's brought you to where you're at in your life today, and what you're doing with your unique gifts.
Yeah. So my journey, my life. So as you mentioned earlier too, like at a young age, I was molested. With that came a lot of stuff that I had a lot of outbursts. I really didn't understand me. Like I was a good kid, but like I started going into these cycles of not so good. And again, at one point I was soothing, and especially with the sexual assault as well. So I was really lost and broken. I did still have that like positive mindset. My friends, oh great, now my dog's gonna interrupt over here, guest speaker. Um, and like I had like that positive mindset. Like my friends would always say, you know, Ashley, you always think the grass is greener on the other side. And I always had this belief, like there's always something greater. And regardless of what I was going through, regardless if I was that person that seemed like she had her head all over in all those different places. But again, when I had my daughter, that was like the beginning part, because I held her in my arms and I looked at her and I was like, okay, things need to change here. Like, you know, I don't want my life to be like this kind of thing. So I registered myself into college. I thought that, hey, let's make everybody happy. Ashley's going to college, right? So I was really looking at ways to like, I guess, people please. Like, so I would get that attention, like, oh, you're doing something good. And I was unhappy. And when I was doing actually one of the co-ops, I would say, I can't remember the exact term to it. I was in a counseling and I just sat in that office and I was like, there's something more. I do not want to work for someone. I want to start my own business. Now, this idea was planted. Did I know what I was going to do? I had no idea. I signed up with some network marketing. I was like, this is not it. So it was like this whole journey, but it wasn't like me figuring out exactly what it was that I was going to do. It was me finding myself, right? The true Ashley, because she was so hidden and buried in all this pain and all this trauma, had so much emotions, but like finding me and loving me. And that's one advice that will always stick with me. It's like a very good friend of mine. She's like, your life isn't going to change until you start loving yourself. You're not going to find that amazing partner until you start loving yourself. I'm still single, but I fully fell in love with myself, my flaws. I forgave myself. I forgave others. It was a long journey. Then it clicked one time. I found this program and it was basically to write your own business plan. And they were gonna, like, they paid you for it too. And you had to go out in the community, you had a business coach you're working with, and there was events and stuff like that. So I went, signed up. And then as I'm having this meeting, the lady asked me, what's my business? And I was like, what's my business? I'm like, life coach. So, you know, it just started happening from there. And I, again, tried doing it on my own. Since I started my business as an entrepreneur, I've made a lot of changes. I think you find out like what's working for you, what's not working for you, what you want to do. So I made a lot of changes. But recently, too, what I found was a big challenge was, yes, there's the time management, the productivity, and growing your business, but you can have all those strategies, everything in place. And sometimes people are feeling they're in this cycle of chaos, overwhelmed, feeling stuck. And it's not the strategies itself. It's deeper than that. It's that inner mindset work. It's reprogramming your subconscious mind, your limiting beliefs, everything that connects with that. So I started working with the coach. She was my first coach ever, actually. And a lot of ideas were born. And now I've been creating more programs. I've been really putting myself out there. I became an author with the She Rises Studios and becoming an unstoppable woman mompreneur. So that was an amazing opportunity. And just really finding my tribe of women, which I'm so grateful to have found you and the She Rises. And, you know, it's just been a wonderful experience. And I think I forgot the rest of the question.
No, that's okay. I think that you've pretty much answered, because I really wanted to know like how you got to where you are. And we can just, you know, there's no perfect answer. So it's just what comes to your heart. What I wanted to ask you though is you've touched on being an author in the Mompreneur book with the Becoming an Unstoppable Woman's book series with She Rises Studios. And that started, I was an author in the very first book, which started this movement, which was which was founded by Hannah Olivas and Adriana Luna Carlos, who are also the founders of She Rises Studios. And they brought this movement into the world to really, actually, when they first started their community back on Instagram, was just to really have a place for women to feel supported. And this was during the pandemic, and it was nothing more than just to have this opportunity for women to, like, their voices to be heard, to be able to support each other. And then it grew from there, and they've taken off. Like, they've got such amazing story behind the two of them as well. But being a part of that, you've now moved into an ambassador role with this company. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's so funny how you were saying too how they started off in the beginning, whatever, the pandemic. Because when I first seen them come out, I was like, wow, this is amazing. I'm like, I want to somehow get involved with this company. Like, I want to, like, be part of it. Like, it's wonderful. And sure enough, here I am. And so what I do is I'm outreach ambassador, and it's basically they have many book anthology series that come out, and this is with co-authors. So there's a group of author women writing a chapter of their stories. So it's really finding these women that can have stories that they can share, that can really truly inspire other women, because that's what it's about, that inspiration. But it's also to give you that credibility, to put that visibility, I should say, as well. Because when I did the book, I had no idea what I was signing up for. I always knew I wanted to be an author, but the hows and the whats, I had no idea. And when I had this wonderful opportunity to be part of, I learned so much. It's not just about writing a book and letting it collect dust. There's so much more that goes into it. There's so much opportunity. There's so much things that you learn, the relationships you build. So I was very happy, still very happy, and I'm very grateful to be part of their team.
Yeah, no, and I think that's great, because then it leads us into, like, that next part of it where you're now part of the SRS Collective Leadership Team, along with myself and some incredible women, like, from all over the world. And what I love about this opportunity that the both of us are now involved with is that we have this um, platform to be able to share around the world with women from all backgrounds, to help them through different areas of life, through business, through self-care, through mindset and limiting beliefs, through to marketing, to branding, to their websites, to, like, visibility, to becoming an author. Again, becoming an author, I feel like that kindred, spirit as well, because I had that on my vision board. I have a digital vision board, which I would watch. I still watch. I have a new vision board that I watch to music still every day. But then the old one had, I had the author part on it. I had a lot of other things on my author, on my previous digital board that started coming true. And my new vision board is already starting to manifest some of those things as well. And I'm like, wow, it's incredible what you can start to really bring forth into your world when you have that right energy. So tell us about, like, your experience with the SRS Collective Team, because again, we're going to be doing summits. We actually have Women's Entrepreneur happening tomorrow, I believe from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So there's going to be some incredible women sharing. I'm going to be there. I know I'm not a speaker, but definitely I'm going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things I would ask you is, now that you're part of this community, for you, what has that meant? Because I know we all know we start somewhere. We want to impact our world. For you, it started with your daughter. You wanted to make a difference in her life. And now what you're doing is you've branched out. You've started to make impact in other women's lives, especially with some of the things that you're doing. One of them being the meetup that you do every Thursday, which is incredible. That's a fantastic place. I've loved being a part of it when I've been able to go. But tell me about, like, your experience as now a collective leader. What has been your experience so far? And yeah, let's start there. Tell me about your experience.
So it's so funny how you mentioned the vision board, because that's what I had on my vision board last year, even too, as an author and speaker. And with Hannah and Adriana, what they've created with She Rises, like, honestly, like, I don't even know, like, where to start, because they have given such incredible opportunities to women, and to be part of the She Rises Collective Leadership Team, like, I'm in awe. Like, I'm speechless. Like, sometimes I'm just like, wow, Ashley, you're doing the things that you said you're going to do, right? So I'm so grateful for them to really give that opportunity. And, I cherish each and every one of them in the She Rises team, and even the collectives. And with this, like, I've stretched so much. I don't even think Hannah realizes how much of a great, amazing impact she has made, because even part of my growth and my healing, I look back to where I was then to where I am now. And being part of the She Rises tribe, the community, being part of these opportunities has really stretched me. It, like, is forming me into that woman that I'm becoming, the highest version of myself. So I'm so beyond grateful for that. It's been a wonderful experience. It's like dreams coming true. It's really building that more confidence in myself and belief in myself as an entrepreneur, and really not being shameful of my stories, things to speak about, things to write about. So I'm just so forever grateful.
Yeah, no, and I love that. I think it's great because it is an opportunity for us, for you and for myself and for the other women and that have become part of this new family, if you will, to really start making an impact, a difference. And I think especially today, when you hear the words collaboration over competition, I know it can seem like kind of like not woo woo, but you know how there's those woo woo thoughts. But this
Yeah.
could seem like, oh, really, But I look at that and say, yes, it's something I've been waiting my life for. Really, it feels like I've been waiting an entire my entire life to have women who truly, when they say they're going to support you, they truly show up that way. When they say when they say they're going to do something, they do it. It is about truly, walking the walk and talking the talk. And that's what I love about today's version of woman, especially when we are supporting each other, because this is where I think that the world can be changed in such phenomenal ways. In fact, when I first had my one of my conversations with Hannah and Adriana on their podcast, I remember saying that women together, we're a force to be reckoned with. And it's so true because, and it's not in a negative way, but in a way that really can impact this world in such a beautiful way by creating, new opportunities for each other, for uplifting and supporting and encouraging and inspiring us to go after our goals and our dreams, no matter what stage of life you find yourself in, whether you're a single mom, whether you're a really super busy mom, and or even if you're single and you're starting to think like, oh my gosh, I want to have a family, but I also want to have this too. Or you could be someone in later in life, like myself. I just turned 60 in February, and I started back when I was 55, when I really started to really take hold of this self-development world and become a coach. And so for me, I look at that as like saying, you know what, any age you are, any stage that you find yourself in life, when you have women who support each other, it's phenomenal. So yeah, I'm just so glad about it. So let's start talking a little bit about uh, what you've got going on, because I did touch on that you have a signature program called the Five-Step Signature Framework, and I know that you have something coming up. So let's talk about that.
Yeah. So my signature step program is basically just like a little roadmap I take my clients through, and it's starting from like the awareness part of it, because healing. Sorry, guest speaker here is interrupting. Any sort of healing, any sort of transformation, it starts with that self-awareness. So it's becoming self-aware. So I take them like through this little roadmap, and it's like a very transformative, because they come in from point A, leave with point B, and they even have the things that we work through. Sorry, I apologize. He's distracting
That's
me.
okay. That's okay.
So it's wonderful. Like, I love it. Also for, sorry, there was, oh, what am I doing? What am I working on? So this is great too. It is my masterclass. So I am hosting a masterclass on April 20th, 1 p.m. Eastern time. And it's basically routines to success. It's creating habits that help you reach to the next level of success in your business and life. this is something that I found again, and this is what I actually use in my coaching programs too, is creating a routine. Because when I started my healing journey as well, I started implementing these tools. So whether it was like meditation, breath work, affirmations, journaling, and I really thought I invented something until I started researching and finding like, oh, like Oprah, she follows a morning routine. Like there's like top people doing this. And it's really very transformative. It's creating those habits because sometimes we have so many of these imprints of our past selves, like those beliefs, I should say, those habits that don't serve us. And that's when people start becoming like blocked, feeling stuck, not happy, low energy. So me in this masterclass is really basically teaching you to create these habits, being consistent with these habits, and using these habits to really level up in your business and your life.
No, I love that. And the thing is, when it comes to structure, I think that's like a four-letter word for some people. And I truly believe there's freedom in structure. It's structure, especially now that I've learned how to use my time more productively, that I structured it in a way, but I still have I find more freedom because I know what I'm doing. It's not like all over the place doing busy stuff and not accomplishing anything. And again, like having a structure to your day, like I'm so it's so important to me when I say have a hard stop to the end of your day. That's part of structuring my time. But that gives me freedom, and it allows me then to have that time to wind down, spend time with my husband, and then I'm winding down enough that when I go to sleep, I'm not like thinking about all of the things because I've already structured like what my week can look like.
Yeah.
And life isn't going to be perfect. It's not going to say, oh, you've got your plan in place, I'll leave you alone, because that's not how it works. Something is going to happen, it'll come up, and you can be sidetracked, but that is okay. It's allowing yourself to extend grace in those moments, because I think we also tend to beat ourselves up when we don't do the things that we want to get done in a given day, or we get thrown off track, and then we start to feel badly about it. It's just extending grace that, okay, you're feeling badly about it, allow the emotion, but then move through it and move on to getting back on track. And so I love the fact that's what you do, because especially with limiting beliefs, like you and I both have the mindset background, that's why when we can both geek out about it. But yeah, I mean, I think mindset is really truly powerful when you understand how you think and feel, and how so powerfully in tandem the two of them are working in the things that you say and you do. It's really important to be able to like say, oh, this is how I typically respond. I work with my clients that way as well. But yeah, I thought like I wanted to bring that around, because one of my favorite exercises that I do is tracking my emotions and my thoughts, acknowledging them, noticing them, embracing them, and then releasing them. And I think it's really powerful when you do that, because then you can see how your habits are, because we have thought habits, we have emotional habits, we see what those are. And like you said, be able to like switch it up and change it and move towards something more positive. So I love that. So you have this, it's starting April 20th. I guess we'll make sure that we put that in the comments too, like after the video.
Definitely share it.
People can, if they want to sign up for it, because I think that would be really powerful. Learning about habits is really important. We all have habits. Some of them we're so not consciously aware of, because it's just something that has become lifestyle, like brushing your teeth, washing your face, having a shower, washing your hair, eating breakfast. All of those things are habits that we take for granted now because, well, they're a part of our life. So I love that. I want to ask you, what does a leader mean to you? Like, what does being a leader mean to you? Because I think it's a great question to ask someone who's on a leadership team.
That's a wonderful question to me. And I know there's like different terms and, responses to what a leader is. And to me, truly, a leader is someone that encourages another person, that really motivates them, inspires them. A leader, is like any other person, is not perfect. So taking that imperfection and whatever challenge you're going through and really learning through it, investing in your growth, and then, really that healing transformation within, and taking your story and being able to help other people. I think it's always also to looking for the solution, being able, like I said, you're inspiring, motivating, but you're guiding people. You're taking them with you. You're not putting other people down. You're not, talking bad about something. Like, you're being that positive role model, right? And again, that perfectionism is out the window because there's no such thing, but it's really truly understanding you, understanding your faults, but taking that in a positive way to being to help others.
That's a great answer. So for the women in this community, is there any advice that you can give to them? Especially, there's a lot of women in business in this community that are building their businesses or growing and scaling their businesses. So is there any advice that, from your own life experience that you can impart?
Yeah, so definitely. And this one kind of hits to the T because I was guilty of it. And sometimes I see myself doing it and I have to stop myself. This is why routines are so important and self-care. But a lot of times we're just so focused on the end goal that you're not in that present moment, right? You're always working, rushing, busy, doing something. And that actually blocks you from your success. It's really key to take that step back. It's really important to have that time for yourself and really basically like being in flow. When you're in alignment, when you have that clarity, when you have that focus, that inspired action comes. And we all love simplicity. So it's finding, and actually it's funny because we talked about this today on the weekly meetup, is finding one habit that you can implement that's going to help you with that focus, that productivity, working through that mindset shift. If there's like those thoughts coming in or something, taking that break, I should say. And also focusing on a simple strategy that you can use in your business that is going to grow your leads. Because one time we're trying this, it's not working, and it's all trial and error, but you give up right away and then you go for something else, or you have this amazing program, but yet you're looking to find the next best thing or something, or you're overwhelming yourself up and you're just like no results there. So just finding something, a simple strategy that you can use that's going to help you grow your audience, bring the leads to you, something that you can automate, rinse, repeat, test it out, see how it works out, and then add to the next thing. So again, simplicity. We all love simple.
Yeah, no, great advice. Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure having you on today.
Thank you.
I've enjoyed
I
our
love
conversation.
talking with you. Sorry, my
No,
dog.
that's okay. Fur babies are welcome. No, it's really been great. Thank you so much. I
Thank you.
appreciate you coming on. Thank you, ladies, for watching. I will make sure I put in the notes below, in the video, with the video, all of the ways that you can contact Ashley, as well as the link to her upcoming workshop happening next month, April 20th, and you don't want to miss out on that. So I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all again next time.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.